Right, welcome back. So in this video, we are going to start creating the different ADF activities. So we are going to utilize the resources that we've created before in the previous video, as well as the link services. So now it's time to start the development work. So remember, the requirement is to migrate the data that we've got in the on-premises SQL Server database to the cloud environment incrementally. And for that, we are going to utilize the watermark approach. So let's get started. So here is my ADF. Let me click on it and then launch the Data Factory Studio. So if I go to here, let me create a pipeline. And then the first activity that I need to create here is a lookup, because the lookup activity basically looks into source and looks through the different objects that I've got in the on-premises SQL Server. So let me give a name. So this is lookup table names. You can give a description, also put a timeout, other parameters here, but let's leave it default. So go to setting. So I don't have any dataset created. So let me click on new. Then this is a SQL Server. Let me give the dataset name. So ds underscore SQL DB. My source database is Adventure Works. And then select your link service. And then here, basically, we've got a lot of tables here from the AdventureWorks. There is no need to select any specific table here because we need to get all the table names for the next activity. So just say OK. First row only, if you have this thing checked, the lookup is going to get or retrieve only the first row value. But we don't need that. We want all the table names, so you have to uncheck that. And then in this option here for the query, we are not going to read data from a table. We have to read all the table names. So let's write a query here. Alternatively, we can write a store procedure which reads all the table names from the Adventure database, and then read that store procedure here. But for us, we don't have that store procedure developed. So let me write a query here. So instead of writing the query here, go to your on-premises SQL Server, and then this is a database that we are targeting, Adventure Works Lite 2012, and within that there are multiple tables, and these are the tables that we're planning to migrate over to the cloud environment. So if I just do select top 100 here for one of it, I don't require that, just I need the table name. So how do I get dynamically these table names? I can use the system functions. So select all from information schema dot table, basically. So if I do that, that should be able to give me the table names, and you can see these are the table names here. But because I'm still in the development phase, I don't need to really look through all the tables to test the pipeline working or not. So let me just limit my selection to a few tables. So we are table name in maybe customer and customer address. That should be enough for testing, but again, we don't need some of these fields here. So let me just refine my query. So table name, and let me just concatenate table schema. Yeah, let's use this query. So copy it, let me put it here, and then that should be okay. So let me validate it and then run it. Okay, so lookup activity completed successfully. So if I see the output, I have the required output here. Here are the table names. and that's what I need. So let me just, because I need this thing for the next activity, let me just copy that, and maybe you can open your notepad and paste it there. And then let me have my next activity, which is for each loop. Connect that, and then give a name for your for each tables. For each tables, we want to loop through the table name sequentially, and then what is the table name? So just choose the lookup activity here, the lookup activity expression dot that. Where are we getting the value? Dot value. So okay. So that's that's how the ForEach is looping through the different table names. So what is it going to do? Let's give activity for it. So we are basically trying to copy, isn't it? Copy data, and then let's give a name for this copy. Copy table tables, copy tables. Then source. My source is the AdventureWorks database. And again, we are not specifically copying one table. So we have to write a dynamic query here to loop through the different tables coming from the for each. So for that, again, let's go to our database here. And then basically, if we are copying customer table, that is a query that we need to use, isn't it? Select all from the customer table. We don't need the database name. That is the query we need to use for the one table. So let me copy that and then go to your for each. Basically, you can paste that one here. But again, you don't want to have one table only here, because the first time the for each runs, it's going to get the customer table. And the second time, you remember on the lookup, the first time is the customer table, and then second time when the for each is running, it's going to get the customer address. So we have to define this query in a way that it can, the table name can be assigned dynamically. So let's click on that and paste it here, this one here. But let's change this in a way that it can be retrieved dynamically. So there is a ADF expression that you can utilize for that. So the way you can write that ADF expression is use the @ curly braces, and then for each item dot schema underscore table name. So that field has got the table name, basically schema.table name. Then say okay. That is basically the source. So let me go to the destination. My destination is ADLS storage. I don't have any dataset created yet, so let me just create a dataset. So let me store it as CSV to start with, but later on we might change it to Parquet. But now we have to view the data once it gets transferred to the ADLS storage. So let me choose that. Then dataset underscore ADLS underscore NubiEdge. And then that is the link service. So let me, first row header, let me leave this thing as default like that. Let me open the dataset, and here is the file system directory and file name. This has to be dynamic because we are looping through multiple different tables. So whenever the table name changes, the file name has to change dynamically. So for that, the file system is always brown. That's a landing zone. Let me just write bronze. And then the directory, let me create a parameter here, directory name. The data type is string, default value, let's leave it nothing there. Then the file name, is also string, and then let's leave. So if you go there and click on the directory, just use the directory name parameter and the file name parameter here, and we are going to define the values for these two parameters at the pipeline level. All the other activities, the compression type, just leave it default there. Everything's okay here. So go to the pipeline. So at this pipeline, here is the directory name, here is the file name. So we have to define, we have to give the expression for the directory name. So the thing is, if we go to the notebook here. That's how we want to define the table names. So the directory has to have the table name underscore the dates in terms of YYYY and DD. Then the file name has to be in this form here. So for that, the directory name, let's define an expression here. So at curly braces, and then in the curly braces, we are going to select the table name. So at item dot table name underscore name. So that will give us the table name, and then backslash. Then we have to use the functions here to get the YYYYMMDD from the UTM-now function. So if I go to the conversion function, I think it's not in the conversion function. So if I hit on, yeah, this one here, so format date, then within that, I want to use this formatted to the YYYYMMDD. Maybe I should use the curly braces here as well. So add curly braces and then close it here. That should give me the directory. So that is the table name. That is the current or UTC now in YYYYMMDD. So I think MDD. And then the table name, we do the same thing. For this, we have to use concatenate. So the concatenation comes from the string function concat. And then from here, we're going to use the for each dot table name, comma, underscore, comma, then again format. That comes from the function. UTC now. And this is in and then we want to have the file type, which is CSV. I think that should give me the file name. Okay. So we have defined the directory name, the values for the two parameters, directory name and file name. And then the copy behavior, normally this is basically when the pipeline runs, if there is an existing file at destination, what do you want to do? Merge it or maybe overwrite it or flatten hierarchy, all these things. I want every new file retrieved by the copy activity when it runs, I want a new file to be created based on this file naming parameter. So I'll just leave it default. The other parameters, those are basically standards, just read about them. Normally we leave them as default like that. So if you want to know more about it, just read about it. Then mapping, I don't have any mapping to do because I am copying data from the on-premises SQL Server into a flat file, which is a ADL storage CSV file. Then that is it. So let me just give a name for my pipeline. So it is, I think I'm going to use PL underscore my project name, data ingestion pipeline. And then you can also give a description. I will just copy a description here. And then validate your work. Let's debug it and see how, maybe publish it first. And then debug. So what this copy activity does is that it loops through the two tables that we got in the lookup activity, copy them over to the data lake storage. So if you go back to the data lake storage here, I think let me open it from here. That is the data lake storage. Here is the bronze folder, and okay, so here is the first file copied. And here is the second file copied. All right. So we have the file copied. Now this is a full load. It's basically every time the pipeline runs, it goes to the on-premise SQL server, get all the data and transfer them over to or copy them, copy it over to the data lake storage. So that is not a requirement. So we want this copy activity. First time it runs, get everything over to the data lake storage, and when we run it for a second time, and on the subsequent runs, we want the copy activity to take only the new and updated records from the on-premises database to the data lake storage, and we have to convert this copy activity to handle this incremental way of ingestion. And for that, that's where we start using the watermark approach. So we haven't created the watermark table yet. We need to create that first, and then we'll come here and add a few more activities to feed into the copy activity, so that the copy is happening based on that ingestion date or the watermark date. So let's go to the Azure SQL Server, and then if I open the query here, so the query is query editor. Okay, so this is the SQL Server database, the cloud SQL Server database, the Azure database. I don't have any table created here, so let me bring my query to create the watermark table. I've got it ready here. So copy and paste. So the table name is watermark. I have got the table name, the schema table name, and the watermark value, which is the datetime data type. So run. If I refresh it and come here, it says failed to run. Let me run it again. Okay, refresh. Here is the query. There is no data in it at the moment. So let me also insert the first two table that we have in the lookup. Table name has to be inserted. So insert into the watermark table, the table name, schema table name, and the watermark value. So initially we don't have any watermark value, so it's null. That is the table schema name, and that's the table name. So let me run this, and then if I refresh it, and then select it, so we have these two tables here. So those are the two tables that the lookup is retrieving from the on-premise SQL server. So the watermark also have got the same record here. So the watermark value, the date, the ingestion date, that is null at the moment. So we also need to create a store procedure which updates the watermark value as soon as the pipeline ingestion completes. Basically, when the copy activity completes, getting data from the source to destination, the watermark value, the date here, needs to be captured. So I have the store procedure here. Let me copy it, copy and paste. So that's create store procedure. That's the store procedure name here with two parameters, the last modified date in a date time format, and then the table name. So for every table, the time is going to be captured, and that is going to be the one which is going to be written here. So update watermark, set watermark value, this the value for this one into the last modified date for the table called the table name here. So let me create it. So that's created. So I've got it here as well. Okay, so let's go back to the ADF. Now we have to modify this query, this one. At the moment, it's select all from the table name. If the table name is customer, select all from customer and take it over. For the initial ingestion, that's fine. But when the pipeline is running for second time, we want a where clause here. So where the modified date for the customer table. What is the modified date? Let me go back to the on-premises SQL Server here. So all of these tables in the AdventureWorks, they have got a timestamp at the end. That's the modified date. So when data is coming from different sources, from the transactional system or any other sources, whenever those data come into this database, the ingestion date is captured or the modified date is captured. If the record is updated, then the updated date is captured here. If a new data is inserted, then the insertion date is captured here. So that modified date is the one we are going to use it to filter the data for the incremental ingestion. All right, so we have the watermark table created. And now let's bring a lookup activity that goes into the watermark table and get the watermark value, which is basically the previous ingestion date. So if I bring this one, let me give a name, lookup previous watermark value. And then that goes into the Azure SQL database. I don't have dataset for that, so let me create. So Azure SQL database, this underscore SQL DB NubiEdge, and then that is a link service that I've got. I don't select table, so let me leave it as it is. Then okay. First row only, yes. For each table coming from the ForEach, we want the first row as singleton value, and we have to write a query here. So the query, let's go to my SQL server here and instance select top 1000, run it. So let me say where the schema table name, schema underscore table name is equal to one of the table name, basically maybe customer. Copy, paste. If I do that, I get that, and I actually need only the watermark value. And that is, if I run that, basically because the watermark value is null, this is the initial injection, it gives me that. So let me just copy that and go to the here. Again, we don't need this thing to be hard-coded, so let's go to the dynamic expression tab here, paste it, and then we have to change this one into the ADF expression. So that is coming from the ForEach dot schema table name. Okay. We have the the watermark of the previous ingestion date configured here. So let me bring another lookup activity. This lookup will get the maximum modified date from the on-premises SQL Server tables. So look up the new watermark value. And then if I go there, I have already the dataset created. This is the one. And then I want only the first row. And then query, we have to write the query here. So if I go to the on-premise SQL Server here, for example, for customer, I have that, but I have to choose the max modified date. Sorry, modified date. This is as, let's say, new watermark value. So that is it. So if I copy that and come here and paste it, but again, I have to change it to dynamic table name. So that one is coming from ads for each dot. That one here. Okay, so these are the two lookup activity. This one goes into the watermark table in the Azure SQL database and get the watermark value for the table that's coming from the ForEach loop. And that one goes into the SQL Server database, the on-premises SQL Server database, AdventureWorks, and get the maximum modified date. So if I connect these two to the copy activity and modify the query for the copy activity, select all from this, I have to add where? Modified date. Modified date has to be greater than the that value. So if I go there, and that is the previous watermark value, first row, dot, I have to run that thing, and I don't know the dot value here, I think. Let me do OK and deactivate this, and let's debug it. Okay, so that has completed. So what I need is to see the output of this. So the output is basically first row new watermark value. Let me just copy that into my notebook. And the other one too. The previous, that's basically the watermark value. Okay, so if I go there, let me go to my lookup here, activate that. And then if I go to here, the previous watermark value dot watermark value. I think this has to be in the quotation as well as the curly braces. And again, the modified date has to be less than or equal to, less than or equal to the new watermark value. So go there, then that's the new watermark value dot the new watermark value coming from the lookup. Okay, that is the expression basically. Select all from this table where modified date is greater than the old watermark value and the modified date is less than or equal to the new watermark value. Say OK. So now it's dynamic. Let's validate. That's OK. Publish. And then let me go to the storage account and delete what I have here. Delete. Okay, I don't have anything. And also at the same time, let me, okay, so the store procedure is not yet configured, so we don't see this thing populated after the run is completed. Okay, so if I go here and then debug. Okay, so the copy activity completed successfully. So if I go to the storage account and refresh, so we have the two tables copied. That is the customer. We have got all the information here. And the same thing for the other one too. Okay, so if I go to the SQL Server, the Azure database, I don't think that's refreshed yet. because we have to configure the store procedure, which does the update. So that's the last thing that we have to do for the incremental loading. So if I click into that, so after the copy activity, what we need to do is just call on store procedure, and then connect that, basically give a name for this one, update the watermark value. If you go there, we are going to use this link service, and the store procedure is going to be this one. It's got two parameters, so if you click on import, you have the two parameters here. So the last modified date is basically the new watermark value. So you remember in the select query here, we are getting data for the modified date greater than the previous watermark value, less than the current watermark value. And the current watermark value is the maximum of the data modified date from the on-premises tables. So whatever is maximum by the time the pipeline runs needs to be captured in the watermark. So the next time the pipeline runs, it has to get anything greater than this maximum date. That's the objective. So if I go here and come here, that value is going to be, let's put the expression here. And then from the new watermark value dot the new watermark value from the lookup, copy, paste. So that is the type that needs to be captured in the watermark table, or updated in the watermark table. The table name is basically the table name from the ForEach dot. That's it. Okay, so we have the store procedure configured. So we have everything ready, validate. Good. Publish it. In the meantime, let me go here and delete the bronze layer again. And also, if we come here, run it, we don't have this thing already populated. And let me run the pipeline. So debug. So that is basically the end-to-end pipeline that can ingest data from the on-premises SQL Server to AWS storage incrementally. Now this is active for only two tables. So what we need to do is to go back to the SQL Server database and select whichever table that you want to transfer into the AWS storage, and update the lookup, the first lookup statement, which is this lookup statement here. Let this be run, and then we'll see what's happening. Okay, so the pipeline completed successfully. So let's go to storage account and refresh. We have the two tables created, and let's go to the watermark table and run that one, and we should be able to have these watermark values captured. So if I run it, so we have these watermark values captured. So that is basically how the watermark approach for incremental loading is happening. This is a little bit long videos. So in the next video, what we are going to do is maybe update the lookup so that we can get all the necessary tables from the on-premises to the cloud environment. Also, at the same time, we will try to insert new records and also update a few of them so that we can test the incremental loading. So yeah, that's it for this video. I will see you in the next video. Thank you.